Hey guys, welcome back. So today we are going to talk about 8 hidden tricks on Spotify. And some of them are more obvious than others, so you might know some, but I guarantee you that most of you will not know all 8. So the first thing I want to cover is something that is kind of simple. Let's start with the simple ones. And that is using Spotify's queue feature. Surprisingly, not many people know about this. Say you're in the car. You could make a quick playlist before you go on your trip, or you could do this. So I would click on a song. I had to mute it so I didn't get demonetized, even though I'm not even monetized. That's my first song. Now, if I want to add another song, say I go to the top charts, and I want to add a song from the top 50. Say I want to add Circles by Post Malone. There are multiple ways of doing this. You can tap the 3 little dots on the right, and then click Add to Queue. Or, you can swipe almost as if you're clicking on the song, but swipe to the right. And when you do that, it's queued. So then you can keep doing that with each song. Say I want another Post Malone, Sunflower. I'm going to swipe to add it to queue. And then I want to add another song, but say I decided I see Panini by Lil Nas X, and I want to play it next. So how I would do that is I would click on the 3 dots on the right, and then you would click Add to Queue, and then you would click on the current song that is playing. Click the bottom right corner. And then you can rearrange the songs that you added to queue. So say I wanted Panini up top, I'd put Panini there. And if I want to remove any songs, like I accidentally added Circles a million times, I would click, and then bottom left, remove. So that is a very simple one to get started. So next up we have disabling the canvas feature. And if you don't know what a canvas feature is, it's those videos that play in place of the album artwork. So usually it takes up the whole screen. I can't play any to show you because they're all copyrighted. I prefer album artwork. It's static, it uses less data, so I shut off the canvas feature. So if you choose to shut it off, because I think by default it turns on, you tap the settings in the top right, and then you go to playback, scroll down to the bottom, and then shut off the canvas feature. Because if you listen to the same song over and over again like I do, I get sick of the canvas always on. While we are in the settings, I want to click on music quality. Now, I prefer the highest quality possible, as I'm sure all of you do. So if you have Spotify Premium, you can access the very high quality. And I prefer very high in case the music downloads. I don't usually download music unless I'm flying somewhere, but I can really hear a difference between the standard of 96 kilobits per second and very high to 320 kilobits per second. And to put that into perspective, Spotify's normal 96 kilobytes per second is lower than iTunes standard. iTunes standard is 128. So you really should opt in for the highest quality possible, especially in this instance. But to save space, you can turn on the normal quality. Okay, so the fourth thing is to make sure that you follow all of the artists that you like. And I'm saying this for a very specific reason. So let's look up an artist that I've been obsessed with recently. Tame Impala. I'm late to the party, but here we are. So I already follow him, as you can see. So you would just look up the artist's name and then click the top right, follow. That unlocks a feature because if you follow all of your favorite artists, you would go to the search feature, scroll down to concerts. And then they give you recommendations based on the artists that you follow. So that way, you don't have to wonder, oh, who's in town? It gives you a chronologically ordered list of all of the artists that you follow and when they are coming to town. I think some of these are recommendations too. I don't think I follow all of these people, but it's mainly the artists that you follow. The fifth thing on this list is the Spotify ecosystem. That's what I call it. I don't know what it's actually called, but this is how it works. So say you have 2 devices on Spotify connected to the same account. Turn on, don't be dead, don't be dead, don't be dead. Oh good, you're not dead. Okay, we're gonna look up the Wallows album. So say I click on the Wallows album, and I click on a random song, muted for our viewing. But then when I open Spotify on my phone, it'll say you are listening on Nico's MacBook Pro. So then I click continue because I prefer to listen on my MacBook because my MacBook is connected to my Bluetooth speaker. And that way, if I get a phone call or something, or if I wanted to look at Snapchat, it won't be playing off of the speaker. The speaker will be connected to my computer. But I can control the volume of my MacBook on my phone. So my phone becomes a remote, and I can just leave my MacBook, walk all around the house, and still keep my computer in range with my Bluetooth speaker, but not have to worry about keeping my phone near the Bluetooth speaker. But I can still control it throughout my entire house, which is phenomenal. And how you would get that feature is you would go to devices. So on the computer, you would click right there, and I can swap it back to my phone if I wanted to, and then my computer could also control my phone, which is such a cool concept. The next 2 are about Spotify's personalization feature, and that is one of the things that Spotify excels at. It's worlds beyond Apple Music in terms of personalization. So every Monday, they make you a playlist. If you don't already know, it's called Discover Weekly. And how you would get there is you would go to search and then made for you. And they also have on repeat, rewind. There are 2 original personalizations were Discover Weekly and Release Radar. So Discover Weekly is every Monday. It will give you 30 songs that it thinks you will like. And it learns based on whether you like the song or dislike it. So make sure you go and say, when you click on it, that you like it or you don't. So I'm going to click on this one. So on the bottom left, you would say you like. Bottom right, don't like. I've never heard this song before, so I can't tell. And that improves the personalization process. Then every Friday, they have Release Radar, which is new music from all of the artists that you're following. So another reason to follow those artists. Next is one of the greatest features of personalization, which is mainly why I never switched from Spotify to Apple Music, although I have tried both. And that is the year in review. So every year, Spotify not only gives you a playlist of the top 100 songs that you listened to that year, but it also gives you more in-depth analysis. Like you listened to a certain song for 20 days straight, or this was your top song, this was the artist that you engaged with the most, these were your top 3 artists. The second to last thing I will mention is on the same level as personalization, and that is your Spotify Festival. So kind of similar to Spotify Wrapped or the Year in Review, Spotify has a festival, and it is through a third-party app. So how you would get to it is you would Google Spotify Festival, and it's called FESTIFY. So it is a third-party application, but you would just log in with Spotify, and then you choose 6 months, all time, or the past month, and then it will give you a festival lineup. It's just a little thing that looks kind of cool. It'll use your Spotify username, call it something interesting, and give you your top artists of that month. So it's a little bit quicker than the Year in Review. You don't have to wait all year. You can just get it right away. And I just really love that personal feature. Like, it's like almost like you're going to your own festival. Like, if I ever had my own Coachella, who would be in it? And then my final one, I've saved the best for last. And that is using Spotify with Siri. And I have made a video on this. I will link it. There are multiple ways of getting Spotify to work with Siri now that iOS 13 has added more capabilities with Siri. But I still think that the best way to get Spotify to work with Siri is the way that I describe it in my original Spotify Siri shortcuts video. The only other alternative is to join Spotify's beta program, and that is a more complicated process. You have to sign up for it, and Spotify doesn't grant access to everyone, so it's kind of a shot in the dark. You'd have to download the Test Flight app to use Spotify beta. And even if you get access to it, it's just a more complicated process when you could just do it with the Shortcuts app and not have to bother with signing up for any program or anything. So yeah, those were all 8 hidden features of Spotify. And I'm sure there are more, but those were the ones that I felt were the most important and most beneficial to your everyday music consumption. So if you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more from me, I post a new video every Thursday. And click the subscribe button right here. I'll see you guys next week.